Hey everybody, we are now going to look at standard form and we're going to look at pros versus cons of using standard form. We're going to do a couple of things within here too so you can see how it is actually essential and can be really helpful in this format, but we're also going to be looking at how it's really limited. So pros versus cons. I'm going to draw a line down the middle of my board. Pros of standard form versus cons of standard form. I'm going to start actually with some of the cons. So that way we can end on a happy note of some of the pros. So cons of standard form are these. When I look at the cons of standard form, instantly I'm thinking, where is the slope? Where is the y-intercept? It's really hard to find. So slope and y-intercept are not readily available. I would have to manipulate the equation quite a bit to be able to find what the slope and the y-intercept are not readily available. As well, finding any sort of points beyond intercepts, which we're going to play around with in the pro side because that's a huge pro of standard form. Finding any sort of points like what if x is equal to 1, what is y, is actually kind of cumbersome because we have this format, because of this format, ax plus by equals c. Because our input and our output are on the same side of the equation, we have to do quite a bit more computation. Well, quite a bit more, meaning like we have to do one more step. And mathematicians are all about efficiency, right? So if we have to do one more step in this computation, it's not necessarily super effective when we want to find like when x is equal to 1 or when x is equal to 4 or whatever else. If it doesn't end up being an intercept, it can actually be kind of messy. So finding points that are not intercepts is messy. That being said, that's kind of the only major cons to standard form. There's other major pros to standard form as well. So slope-intercept form is great because we have a slope and then we can, or we have the y-intercept that we can plot, and then we can use the slope to find the rest of the line, right? We technically only need to find this or use the slope to find one other point, and then we connect the dots and we can create the rest of our line. So technically, we need two things, a point and the slope to find a line. Well, we can also use 2 points to find the line. So pros with standard form is we can easily find intercepts. So we can find the x and the y intercept super easily. And sometimes the x and y intercepts are messy numbers, but it's actually really easy to find them. So I'm going to show you with a pretty basic problem, one that's like going to be really nice and really obvious how this works. So this is a cool trick that we can use with just the basic understanding of what an intercept truly is. So if you think about it, an intercept, if we are looking at a basic graph, and with that basic graph, if we look at just a number that is plotted on the x-axis, if we're looking at a number that's plotted on the x-axis, that means our y value for this particular, for any of these points on this line are going to be 0. So that means I need a number, comma, 0. So that means my y is 0. So if that's the case, if I look at this equation and I put 0 in for y, that makes this entire term right here completely void. We don't even have to worry about it, which is fantastic. That means you can do what I like to do, which is the hand cover up. And you'll see this in your notes. If you do the hand cover up, I can instantly, over the y, I can instantly find the x-intercept. So I get 2x is equal to 6. What number does x have to be? Well, it has to be 3 because 2 times 3 equals 6, right? So I can easily find that my x-intercept is 6. Or is 3. Whoa, goodness sakes, is 3. So I have 3, 0. At the same time, if I think about what does it mean for a y-intercept, that means every single x value to plot anything on the y-axis has to be 0. So I'd say 0, a number gets me y-intercepts. So again, that would mean x is equal to 0. Then I have this equation. So using the hand rule, I'm covering up 2x. I now have negative 3y is equal to 6. That means if I were to solve this, that means y has to be negative 2 to get a positive 6 out of this equation. So my y-intercept equals negative 2, or 0 comma negative 2. So finding my intercepts with standard form is super quick and simple, and it's awesome. And if I have 2 points, I can then graph that line really easily. I only need 2 points, or I need a point and slope to be able to graph a linear equation. So huge, huge, huge pro, and it's awesome, super cool. What's also neat is that also provides me some context to a graph. So if I was looking at a real life situation, I could say that if I looked at one intercept, going back to the taco and drinks problem from the last one, our last video, if I were to look at the taco versus drinks problem, I could say one intercept means that's how many tacos I'd have to buy to spend all of that $20. The other one would be that's how many drinks I need to buy to spend all of that $20, which again, that would be partial drinks because the drinks were $1.50, but that's beside the point. Kind of cool. Another one is it allows us to describe a completely different type of linear function that we could, or that we couldn't do with slope-intercept form. So it just describes a different type of linear function that cannot be well described by slope-intercept form. So again, slope-intercept form really works well with like flat rate plus like miles per hour, or amount of money you're paying, like charging per hour, stuff like that. But slope-intercept form doesn't really work well with like the taco truck problem that I was describing just like in the last video. So it just describes another set of situations that you could potentially write linear equations for. So pros versus cons. Standard form has some pretty awesome pros, but it has some very limiting cons in terms of slope and y-intercept. So hope that helped. We have one more video after this where we're going to practice converting slope-intercept form and standard form back and forth. Thanks for watching. Bye.